Pulling a Tom Brady and you're taking a haircut to keep the roster intact. Is that true?
Something. I don't know about that. We can talk about it.
All right, maybe dinner on you. Tomorrow night, the Lakers visit the Celtics in a matchup of two of the best in the NBA. LeBron and Luka versus Tatum and Brown will surely be a show. I can't wait for this game, guys. The Celtics and Lakers both sit as a second seed in their respective conference while playing strong basketball. The Lakers have won 8 straight, their longest streak since 2019, while the Celtics have won 12 of their last 15. Yeah, you want to say something? Yeah, you're good.
I'm sorry, I can't believe this. I was talking and I mentioned names, and I didn't mention the person who deserves the most credit. Mr. Jimmy Pitaro.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy.
A phenomenal boss. I thought I said him, but somebody said you didn't mention. How could I not mention the great Jimmy Pitaro, who we're all proud to work for? So I apologize for that interruption, but of course, Jimmy Pitaro.
I'm going to be honest. I feel like I need to protect you sometimes. When you start naming names, I'm like, I don't like this game because there's a lot of names, contributors on the show.
That's true.
We've got a lot of bosses, so you're going to miss somebody.
I should have meant that. My bad. I should have meant Jimmy Pitaro.
We did notice Monica and I got left off. We did notice that. Just so we're clear.
Y'all too as well. I wouldn't know about sports gaming if it wasn't for you and Eminem. That's my girl. And Andrea Carter, Chanel Gumake. Let me not forget that too.
I'm sorry if it lands hollow.
Don't go that game. You gotta,
I won't go that game, but nothing happens without Jimmy Pitaro. Nothing.
No.
I just got one question. I got one question. That's it. Can I get $1, please?
And I have my people call your people, and we work that out.
Oh my gosh. At least I know Stephen A is going to be able to feed his family because I was concerned. All right, Monica, who should the Celtics fear most?
I think it's Cleveland. When I look at the landscape, obviously Cleveland's in their conference, and so that could impede their progress theoretically from repeating this year. But I just think of that personnel. I think of the consistency, as our good friend Charles Barkley pointed out. They've been playing great basketball for 6 months, which is a fact. I think that they have had time to really marinate in who they are. They're very clear on how they want to play basketball. And I shared this last week. I just think Donovan Mitchell probably isn't getting the credit that he deserves in this conversation. Obviously, he's having a terrific year as far as the basketball of it all. But the leadership and the small sacrifices and empowering this group, Evan Mobley, the jump that he's taken, Darius Garland being healthy, they have been playing a clearly identified brand of basketball the longest, and they are sitting atop the Eastern Conference for good reason. So I definitely think it's the Celtics between their personnel and the time that they've been able to spend together.
100% agreement. That is the clear and present danger to the Boston Celtics right now, and you got to fear the trajectory. We get so caught up in being prisoners of the moment because it's human psychology. Durant lands with the Suns. We all think the Suns are going to go on a run. Luka lands with the Lakers. They're suddenly going to become the next dynasty. These things need time to marinate. You need to build, and that is what Cleveland has been doing. 3 years ago, they missed the playoffs entirely. 2 years ago, it's a first-round exit. They looked soft against the Knicks in that series. So what do? They came back with more physicality the next year, which was last season. They go 7 with Orlando. They advance, and then they get bounced. Each year, they take another step. Each year, they get a little bit better. They're extremely well balanced. Number 1 in the NBA in offensive efficiency, number 7 in defensive efficiency. They added depth with DeAndre Hunter, which is going to be big against the Celtics come playoff time. And don't sleep on the transition from Bickerstaff to Atkinson as the head coach. It's not to knock JB Bickerstaff. He'd be my vote for coach of the year in Detroit with what he's done with the Pistons. But some guys are great builders, and then some guys are there to push you over the top. Kenny Atkinson, coming from Golden State under Steve Kerr, who knows a thing or two about taking over for someone and then taking it to the next level when he took over for Mark Jackson in Golden State, and we all know the rest is history there. A very clear and present danger in Cleveland. That's the team to worry about if you're Boston right now.
It's a trifecta. We all agree. I've been saying Cleveland for how many weeks now, Eminem? How many weeks, Joe? I've been talking about Cleveland. And then, I had to work with Big Perk doing NBA Countdown last Friday, right? And he said, I'm going with the Celtics. You watch what they do. And then they go up 11-0. And then they go up 25-3, and Perk gonna come in agreement with what I tell you. What I tell you. You understand? I tried to warn you. I tried to tell you. And then when Cleveland came back, I couldn't find his big ass. I mean, that dude was high. I couldn't find him. How the hell all of a sudden you disappear? Big Perk. You know, you would have thought of the I Spy. You know that I Spy segment they got on NBA Today? Then you would have thought he was dead, except he didn't stick his head out from the bushes. He hid behind it, and evidently the bushes were big enough to hide him. That's what transpired, okay? I've been talking about Cleveland for weeks. Donovan Mitchell is a bona fide star in this league. Darius Garland is no scrub. When you take that into consideration and then you look at the elevation of Mobley, Jared Allen wasn't participating in the playoffs last year. Let's keep remembering. You keep acting like he played last year in the postseason, particularly against Boston. It's not true. It's not what happened. They didn't have him, and Donovan Mitchell ultimately went down as well with a couple of games left. You got that going on. And then the pickup of DeAndre Hunter. The brother's 6'8", can guard on the wings, and can shoot threes. Now, the Boston Celtics that we've been seeing, here's how you know a champion is something to be worried about, y'all. When they lurk. I'm not talking about dip. When they lurk. When you're lurking is when you're not number one, but you ain't worried about it because you're right there at number two. You don't have to worry about falling to number three. You're right there letting the top dog know you're still going to have to come through us. That's what Boston has been doing to Cleveland. And when you see Pritchard and Derek White both score over 40 in a game, when you see Jason Tatum having an MVP caliber year like he's having, when you've seen a drop-off in three-point shooting from Jaylen Brown, but yet this team is completely unfazed. They lead the league in three-point attempts, three-pointers made per game. It's going to get very interesting. Cleveland's going to have to show up. But make no mistake about it, I view it as a 7-game series. I believe Boston and Cleveland, meeting in the Eastern Conference Finals, there will be a Game 7 with 48 minutes to go for a berth to the NBA Finals on the line in Cleveland. That's what I believe will happen. Look out.
All right. We're leaving it there, guys. When we come back on First.
Back on Get Up with today's wake-up call. It's Luka coming up big in overtime. Here's Brian Anderson.
Now it's Anunoby on Doncic. The switch again. Doncic over Towns. Oh, my! Oh, Luka Doncic pours in a 27-footer.
Tomorrow night, the Lakers head to Boston to see the defending champs. They're going to bring with them two of the all-time leading scorers against the Celtics. Luka Doncic averages nearly 30 points against Boston, behind only Donovan Mitchell and Michael Jordan. And LeBron is sixth on the list, behind Wilt and Querim. So those are some names that we've heard of. Lakers facing the reigning champion Boston Celtics tomorrow night. That game is on ABC. And Bobby Marks, it feels like much more than a regular season game. What's at stake for Los Angeles?
Well, it's a contrast in styles, Dan. I mean, when you look at it, we looked at Denver a couple weeks ago as kind of a litmus test. This is another one here where you have a Lakers team that's been number one in defensive efficiency since the end of January, that has prided themselves on not allowing them to get beat down low in the paint, and have given up a ton of threes, and opponents are shooting 31%. That is the best in the NBA from a Lakers perspective against a